It frustrates me when people refer to fly fishing as my hobby. Fly fishing has the power to change your life, the way you see the world. The smell of a creek on a hot summer evening, the sound of water rushing, it takes you to a different place mentally and emotionally. A mayfly lives its entire life clinging to rocks on the stream bed. Then, after months of existing under a rock, something in nature aligns, and every nymph of that species releases, emerging to the surface all at once to hatch out of their exoskeleton. This happens year after year, almost to the day, and this happens in the trillions. A hexagenia hatch can yield 3,000 times the amount of people on this planet. The fish begin rising to these adult duns and refuse all other species of flies. You tie a fly that matches these mayflies with feathers and fur, cast it into the ring of a rising trout, and watch the fish come up to take it. You and the fish are then connected by line and graphite. Hundreds of trillions of flies on this planet, of every shape, color, and size, and that particular fish takes your fly, and you watch as this display of destiny takes over your whole world. That is not a hobby. That is spirituality. The Penns and Cumberland valleys in central Pennsylvania hold one of the world's most precious resources: cold, clean water. Ever since I caught my first trout at the age of 4, these waters have been a huge part of my life. It's in my blood. I grew up reading about Charlie Fox and Vince Marinero, people who had dedicated their lives to this passion. They knew something others didn't. They understood the magic of these valleys. It goes far beyond simply catching fish. To them, It was a lifetime's work of understanding this incredible process, and ultimately, a lifetime's work conserving it for generations like myself to experience. I'd stop by my grandfather's house on the way home from fishing the Lee tour and hear his stories firsthand.
They were good old days. I mean, you talk about Vince Marinara and Charlie Fox and Ross Trimmer and some of the other ones. They were, at that time period, they were the elite fly fishermen in this area. I lost about a 28-inch one like that one night, and Charlie Fox was standing right beside me. Of course, I'm glad he was, because I caught him, took him out, and got him out of there. I was going to get him mounted, and they didn't like that idea. You taking their fish out of there and getting it mounted, and just to be outside, you know, in the morning before daybreak or right after daybreak or in late evening, and see the fish rise and see them come up, and, you know, it just, you know, it was an experience. It ain't like it today. It's not like it was back then. It's not.
As I got older, I began to understand the effect these waters had on those people. There's something magic about it. The first time I caught a wild fish on a fly rod, I was 12 or 13 years old. I rode my bike to the stream with my old fiberglass rod across the handlebars, saw flies dancing on the surface. All I had were my grandfather's old flies from the 60s, and I tied on the first one that I thought would work. I eventually got the idea to make my fly dance like the ones I was seeing on the water, and when the fish finally took my fly, I almost fell backwards into the water. I will never forget the beautiful red spots and the feeling of a wild fish on the other end of my fly line that day. Ever since that moment when I first connected with the wild brown trout, fishing has been different for me. It's no longer about how many fish or how big. The fish in these two valleys transcend those two arbitrary angling goals. It's 100% completely about the fish.